You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Morehouse College President David Thomas wants to help black men finish school. Starting this August, Morehouse will offer an online program for men looking to complete their college degrees. The tuition for the courses have been reduced in half, and the program's flexibility allows students to complete their degrees on their own schedule. Thomas says he was inspired to start the new initiative after hearing from alumni of the university. Smart move here, Michael, because one of the issues that Morehouse also faces, and like a lot of the schools, that retention rates, and that is individuals who have gone through the university once they hit the their junior and senior year, they can't afford to stay, and so this is actually a very smart move on their behalf to take advantage of where everyone is going to school online, frankly.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I remember junior, senior year at Wayne State University in Detroit, and, you start to lose friends. They have to drop off for various reasons. And if you look at the article here from NPR.org, it talks about how more than 2 million African-American men who pursued a higher education never finished their degree, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. And there are various reasons behind this. So what they're doing, I think, is extremely important. And I also want to know once they complete the degree, what services do they offer to also connect them to employment? I'm sure they have them, but I would like to hear about that as well. But this is something I think that's really, really important. I think you're going to see other HBCUs start to implement something like this as well.
Bottom line is this here, Candace. Look, folks, the issue when it comes to college degree, look, people are requiring it. It's as simple as that. They're requiring that degree, and so having an opportunity to complete it is important. And again, of course, cutting in half also because the cost of a private school is a hell of a lot more than it used to be.
Yeah, and they'll make almost twice as much money over a lifetime when they look at the numbers in terms of having a college degree and not having a college degree. I see this up close and personal with many students who, whether it's financial aid or somebody that got sick, it's a whole domino effect. And then they just don't find themselves in school anymore. I mean, have you ever filled out financial aid forms? You do better in a corn maze in the pitch black of trying to get through it. They have classes on it. So there are so many things that are barriers. This is an amazing idea. But like Michael said, too, what's going to be the outcome after they are done and they have this degree? A lot of them are older. What does that mean and how that translates into the real world? Because if there's somebody that's 55 or 60, that's definitely someone that's different. That's different than someone who's going to be 22 or 23 trying to get a job. So there'll be a lot of things that they have to navigate through that certainly they have planned for in order to help people through. But this is a huge deal, a great idea. And let's just be, honest, it's going to be a wonderful financial win for them and also for the students who finally complete their degrees.
Absolutely. Michael.
Rob,
sorry, Rob. My bad, Rob.
You're fine.
I've heard enough of the Sigma. Go ahead, Captain.
No, this is a great idea, and I take one little contrary view in terms of, yes, it's a great idea, and I'm very, very glad they're doing this. And I think right now HBCUs that are enjoying a prominence that they always should have had, but particularly with Georgia, the senator, your alpha brother who won, and then we have Vice President Kamala Harris, both went to HBCUs. I would say this is an opportunity to do this and extend it, and we can also hopefully do other things they can use their online courses to teach people relevant skills right now, because even if it's not about completing a college degree, because college degrees also are not as valuable as just having a degree doesn't matter as much unless you get relevant translatable skills right now. Because it used to be you got a college degree, no matter what, you were fine. That's not true anymore. Now it's you have a college degree. Can you use do you understand how to do some coding? Do you understand how to navigate online? So making sure that we're applying skills that are relevant to a job in 2021, specifically a job that in a post-COVID-19 economy. I think there's a whole lot of opportunities for Morehouse and other HBCUs to really have a large impact.
Absolutely. But I will say this here. all the jobs out here ain't got nothing to do with coding. In fact, 60% of the Silicon Valley jobs have nothing to do with engineering. See, and that's, to be perfectly honest, that's a fallacy that people keep putting out. Look, I get the importance of STEM. Here's the problem with that. There are millions of jobs that ain't got jack to do with STEM.
Yeah, but you usually got to learn or have some understanding, basic understanding of how to navigate and learn in technology. You don't have to be a technical expert, but you usually, in order to do work in some of those organizations, you still, if you're going to go work for Google, you at least got to have some understanding of how it works.
No, actually, you don't. No, actually, you don't. When Reverend Jackson went after Silicon Valley, they pulled the numbers. 60% of the jobs in Silicon Valley have nothing to do with science and engineering and math. So, but all I'm simply saying is this here. I get everybody this focus folks have had about STEM. What I'm saying is there are millions of jobs that have nothing to do with STEM. And so I think I think what needs to happen is, here's what actually I think what has to happen in colleges, if we really want to be honest. What has to happen in colleges is you have to have a narrowing of the gap between what is theoretical and what is practical. That part of the problem is what's happening, no matter what the degree is, what's happening is you don't have professionals who are coming into college classrooms saying, no, this is really how it works in the real world. I go back to that scene from the movie Back to School when they're in this business class and the guy's like, our product is widgets. And Ryan Dangerfield's like, what the hell is a widget? And then the guy's sitting there talking about labor costs, and he's like, well, what about this and this and this and this and this? And the professor gets mad at him. So it sort of reminds me when I was in college, I jammed up many a professor who didn't know what the hell they were talking about, what was happening actually in television newsrooms. And I remember asking one professor, I'm sorry, did you work at TV? She said, no. I said, so why in the hell are you teaching TV class?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, Roland. Like, in order to be successful nowadays, in some ways, because there's only so many jobs too that you're going to get from corporations. A lot of jobs are going to come from jobs you create on your own as an entrepreneur. And I tell entrepreneurs, there are two things you got to know. You're at some point you're a tech company, at some point you're a media company. If you're a solo entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur that's trying to scale, and you don't have to be the technical expert, but you better know how to go out and find it and like say, have those practical skills. So, and you got to know how to advertise yourself. So you are a media company. I think you're a tech company and you're a media company if you're an entrepreneur trying to grow. And so learning those practical skills, like you said, are very important. And I do think Morehouse and other people can really fill a gap that I don't think is really being met in a lot of ways, specifically for the Black community.
Well,
the bottom line too is networking too, because if you know the right person and you may have the minimal skills, once you get in there, you can learn a job on the job. I've seen many people do it who had the right, the access, and the privilege, and knew the right people in order to at least have the door open for them. So networking is just a huge, important part of it too.
I agree.
I go back, Michael, to skill set. At the end of the day, it's skills, and unfortunately, in many ways, colleges teach theoretical. They don't teach skills.
Yeah, I used to help organize career fairs here in the Detroit area for a local community college. And one of the things we did was we put together we brought in human resource professionals to help the people come to the career fairs. We did the career fairs over the course of 2 weekends, 2 Saturdays. And one of the things that we found in doing my research, and I also recruited 30 of the 35 companies at the career fair as well. But one of the things is that oftentimes people will have the credentials or the skills to do the job, but don't know how to market themselves to get the job, don't know how to market themselves as problem solvers. This is why initially I said I want to know how they connect once people get their degrees, how do they connect them to employers and how do they actually get jobs that are related to the fields they have their degrees in. So, oftentimes colleges deal with theory, okay, and that happens in the business school. Luckily, at Wayne State's business school, we had a lot of professors who actually worked in the real business world. But half that BS you learn in business school don't work like that in the real world. And oftentimes in the business school is taught from the perspective of white businesses. So only 25% of that stuff works for Black people. Okay, so you have to understand the difference between theory and real life practical application.
All I'm saying is skill set. That's what that's what has to happen. And too often I see it in this business where I have people who come out of college and they go, I have a college degree, and I'm going, but what can you do?
Right. Can you edit? Can you write? Can you report? Can you do any of these things that are practical for a newsroom?
Right. And so it's skill set. No, all I'm saying is that, again, the sheet of paper is not going to guarantee you a job. Right. It's also what have you done? What have you accomplished?
It used to. It doesn't anymore.
Well, first of all, I don't know when it used to. When I came out of college, all I know is, look, I actually had an assistant managing editor, Drew Marks. We were on a panel. He was the assistant managing editor for the Austin American-Statesman, and this is what he said. He said, if you give me a 4.0 student who has no experience, and you give me a 2.5 student who has experience, the 4.0 has no shot at getting hired.
That's right.
That's why, and look, hey, I'm cool. Look, I got nieces and nephews in college. I got several of my nieces and nephews. They had 3.0s and 3.5s at Baylor and Seton Hall and all that. Hey, that's all great and cute. Let me tell you something right now. I made a practical decision. Am I going to spend all this time trying to get an A in somebody's class, or I'm going to be sitting here working on my skills in media when I was in college? In fact, this was a literal conversation with a professor of mine. It was an English class, and it was summer science. And after the test, he asked me to stay after it. He was like, you didn't perform well on my test. You come to my class late. He was going on and on. I said, man, I'll be honest with you. I don't give a damn about this class. I did. I said, I don't give a damn about.
You student, I don't want.
No. Yes, you do. But let me explain to you. This is what I said. I said, man, I don't give a damn about this class. I said, you know why? I said, I'm working at a local newspaper. I have job offers. I haven't even graduated. I said, now, I can read your stuff anytime between now and the end of eternity. I said, but if I'm I'm here for a sheet of paper. I said, a sheet of paper. I'm not here for an A in your class. I'm here for a sheet of paper to graduate, to get a job. Now, if I have a choice between spending the bulk of my time at the newspaper learning how to write and report and edit, or read your 100 pages, your 100 pages will never win out. I said, so the reason I'm late to your class, because I work at the paper late. I said, so here's what's about to happen. I don't care about an A. I don't care about a B. I don't care about a C. All I got to do is pass your class. Ain't nobody going to ask me for a transcript when I get out of here. And guess what? I graduated December 1991 from Texas A&M University.
This is something that I share.
Ain't nobody in 30 years asked me for a transcript, asked me how that English class went. Do you know what they asked me? Can you write? Can you report? Can you edit? Can you break news? So, looking at my bank account today, I can go back and read all them damn stories on all my spare time. I made a smart decision.
Yeah, there are some students who say, look, C is for commencement, D is for diploma. Now, that's not something that I co-sign, but I understand your point exactly, that if you have the experience, you are going to go far. And that's going to happen in internships. That's going to happen by students going out and getting real-world experience. What I find with students is that they have a problem that once they get the job offers, that they can't leave for some of the same reasons that prevented them from getting, the degree in the first place or making it longer. They have parents that they need to help. Some students that I teach right here in Jersey have never been to New York City. So you have to expand their horizons and show them that there's more opportunities out there. But I certainly understand your point, because if I'm hiring an editor, I want to know, can you edit? Just let me see your reel and I'm hired.
That's it.
I'm not interested in the transcript.
Yeah. And again, that's not every field, which is why you got to bring professionals into these schools to say, this is what you need to have to prepare for a career. The problem, I think, with college today, it's a whole lot of conversation. And first of all, y'all should have ran the Education Matters stinger. Y'all asleep at the wheel in the control room. It's a whole lot of people who are caught up, again, in the old school model of how things work. I keep arguing, bring professionals in who can bring real world knowledge pair that with theoretical to prepare a student. And again, if your career requires transcripts, if your career requires you to have a 3.0 or 3.5, and you're trying to go to engineering school, or you're trying to go to law, you're trying to go to medical school, that's all fine. I knew in journalism. Why? Because I went to a communications high school, and we actually had professionals who came to our high school, and I was preparing myself as a high school freshman for the career I'm doing now. So I'm saying, y'all, stop worrying about majors. Stop worrying about your major and focus on your career.
Well, I say a couple things on that. I would say it's also important to get some experience, even if you don't have the opportunity to co-op, then actually start an organization. Like I started the first college chapter of the NAACP at my university, and then I became student body president. That I learned more in terms of more knowledge that I applied from that experience, from running that organization, from learning the politics of being student body president than I did in class. And it is important. Your major is less important than getting skills and getting practical skills, no matter what they are. And like you said, also be intentional about networking. Every single relationship matters. I mean, and there's an opportunity that you didn't have in 1991 that I didn't even have in 1997. Actually, I graduated 2002, but I started in 1997. But like even then, you have the ability to meet so many people, and people are more accessible than they ever have been. But you still have to be intentional about how you reach out. I mean, Roland, we didn't even know each other except for a few years ago, but it just comes if you're intentional about networking, then you can grow and really have a lot of opportunities. But people have to understand that basics still apply.
So let me make this final point on this topic here. And this is specifically for this idiot Brian Martinez on YouTube. This is what he wrote. Do not listen to his bad advice. Work hard, get A's, and have some self-respect. Brian, the reason you're an idiot is because which part of what I said did not include work hard? See, the problem is your focus was on working hard in the classroom when I was actually working hard outside of the classroom. So let me give you this one story that might help you to understand, Brian, what happens, the difference between somebody like me, who is thinking ahead, and then somebody like you who's caught up in some silly-ass grade that only makes your mama and daddy happy, and you can walk around and say, hey, I made an A. So let me have, I'm in the journalism class. It's a 50-minute class, and we had a test one day. And so what they would do is they would give you a sheet of paper with a set of facts, and you had to write a story based upon the set of facts on the sheet of paper. I came to the class 15 minutes late. I left 15 minutes early. So when the paper came back, I got an 84. My professor said to me, Brian, well, Roland, if you had applied yourself, you could have made an A. And I said, to be perfectly honest, I didn't care about your A. That was not my focus. She goes, what? What do you mean? I said, let me explain something to you, Doc. So when I graduate, I'm going to be working at a place where I'm going to have to write a story on deadline. And I'm going to have 20 minutes to write that story. So if I do not practice now taking a set of facts and writing it in 20 minutes, then I'm not going to be able to do it when I graduate. And then if I can't do it, I won't be able to keep that job. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to explain to me how I made an 84 on this paper, and the next time we have a test, I'm going to come in here 15 minutes late. I'm going to leave 15 minutes early to write the story in 20 minutes. I said, and then I'm going to get the A. Now, see, Brian, while you sitting here being a smartass on YouTube, let me help you out, Brian. I graduated December 1991 from the Austin American Statesman. I was promoted 3 times in the first 18 months in my career. I was the breaking news reporter in every single place. When the Branch Davidian standoff went up in flames in Waco, I was one of the folks who they sent there. When Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building blew up in Oklahoma City, I was on the ground 3 hours later and was on the lead reporting team on Page 1 for the first 5 days. In my first 4 years in the business. Do you know why, Brian? Because I was smart in how I worked hard in college outside of the classroom and not inside the classroom. And that's why, Brian, I was a news director, morning anchor at a radio station when I was 26 years old, managing editor of a newspaper when I was 28 years old, and met all of my career goals by the time I was 30. Brian, that's called mic drop. Learn what somebody is teaching you. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.